Go ahead and start the show. Welcome everybody to the Overthinking Football Show live. I do this every Monday to Friday, 12:30 in the afternoon, and then also Monday to Wednesday at 8 p.m. If you do want to watch any of the previous lives, we spoke about Pirates and Sundowns games earlier this afternoon. You can head on over to Facebook or to YouTube, and you'll be able to watch what was said at that time. Facebook and YouTube also have other footballing content that might not make it onto TikTok because it's a little bit too long. So please support me by watching, by following each of these accounts and subscribing to YouTube. If you're on Facebook and you're wondering, hey, these voices that we keep hearing, where do they come from? You have to be watching me on TikTok and follow me on TikTok. Then I'll be able to add you to the panel. There's a little button there at the bottom that says multi-guest. For those on TikTok who are wondering how to request, and then I can hear you, just check there at the bottom where it says multi-guest, and you have to be following me. Then you'll be able to come in and join one of the amazing panels that I have. Yeah, today we're talking about the big team, A team so big, we wear the national colors now. A team so big that some people don't know what a full stadium looks like until they play Kaizer Chiefs. And they might get to experience it once more. Okay. We're going to start off where we usually start off with our reviews. We're going to listen to what the two coaches had to say. Then I'll lay the table, and then we will go from there. So let's listen to what Tinkler had to say.
First of all, Coach, hard luck. You controlled the game. You are all over Kaizer Chiefs, and someone said last week Kaizer Chiefs are the luckiest team in history of football. Would you say that also? You also controlled the game, and you had more chances than them.
You need luck. You make your own luck. I think. I think it was an end-to-end game. Both teams having chances, and it's about taking the chances that you create and turning them into goals. And we only managed to turn one into a goal, and they managed to turn two of them. So that is the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. So I can't fault the guys for effort today. I thought they were exceptional. Really, really good. We just landed up on the losing side.
Coach, in terms of planning, I don't know, from the outside, of course, we're sitting and waiting 2 weeks before to find out if the calendar was confirmed, whether it's couple league matches. I don't know what's going on with you guys as coaches, how much you know. How does one prepare for such a situation when you play in 2 weeks, you play 2 matches? Two of them are league and one is a cup match. Immediately after the season started.
We try and control what we can control. We control the uncontrollables. That's how the draw is made. That's how the fixtures landed up. You play 2 massive league games and a cup game in the space of a week. It's not easy. It's hard. So it's all about how much time you give the players off in terms of recovery. I said this before. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Could have been easy for me to say, okay, let me rest a few, refresh, but there's no guarantee that that's going to work. And either way, you're going to be questioned. Oh, but why did you make changes, or why didn't you make changes? The aftermath is always what if? Yeah, what if? But, you try and make the best decisions that you possibly can, and roll with it. Obviously, would we have preferred to have had a longer break ahead of such a big game as today? Obviously, but that's, like I said, we don't have control over that.
Mark? You took a bit of a punt. Punt is perhaps not the right word, on Kuruman and Rose. How satisfying is it for you to see, even in 3 games, how these guys are just taking one monumental leap forward? And if I can just take one back, not a punt. When did you, in your head, make up your mind these guys are going to be something special?
Well, I think, obviously when I joined the club, I saw both of them and how talented both of them are. you could see that if you could keep them grounded and disciplined, that both of them could turn out to be very, very good players, And it was a struggle in the beginning, especially with their discipline, but, the more aggressive I was with them in terms of the discipline, and then also, always putting an arm around them, telling them that I believe in them, So I think both of them now in pre-season really, really showed me a maturity that I was looking for. And I think, both of them have been really, really good. Bala today was superb, and Bala yesterday, his girlfriend's father passed away in the morning, so he actually didn't even come to training. He was at training for the video and then he left, so he didn't do any of the tactical work. And then I was calling him last night just to check if everything was fine. And he was in the starting lineup today, and he done really.
I think I'm gonna halt it there. Then let's hear about what NTSEKI had to say.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, members of the media. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I think it was a very tough one, knowing very well that we came from this game after we lost a game against Sundowns. So what was very important, it was for us to cite our players, to make them aware that we have not been winning, but this is a cup game and we have to give them a performance. And I must say, well done to the players in terms of how they responded to our analysis, how they responded in terms of implementing the plan today. I think from the first minute you could see that we really wanted to win this game. We were putting much pressure on the opponents and we did not give them much space to play. And I think our counter-pressing was very good, was very spot on. But before I can give you more of the game itself, I think we need to say congratulations Kaizer Chiefs, congratulations the chairman, congratulations to our supporters. I think this is long coming because we haven't put much smiles on the faces of our supporters, and I think coming from Sundowns, it's a deserved win. We are love and peace nation. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. We'll take a few questions.
Yeah, let's do one question.
Coach, congratulations, Coach. It looks like you did an early audit and balancing of players. I'm looking at the depth of the bench and Saile coming in. When did it happen? It happened.
Look, the good thing about me being part of Kaizer Chiefs for the past 2 years, I think we did a squad audit and we came up with a plan to say we must have a squad balance into this game. Little did I know that I will end up becoming the head coach. And I think I must say well done to the technical team. Coach Arthur, Coach Shepi, Coach Reina, Coach Lani. These are the guys who've been working very hard coming toward the end of the season and at the beginning of the season. I think we are united front, and I think you can see the performance of the players believing in ourselves, believing in what we are working on. We always say let's trust the process, and the process has got its own stages. And the first stage we experienced today was a win and qualifying for the semi-finals. And I think the players back home, we need to say congratulations to them because they helped us to give this type of a performance. The players on the bench, they were very positive, the attitude was good, and the players on the pitch, I think they responded very well.
Okay, I think I'm gonna halt that there. So now we've heard from the two coaches, Eric Tinkler and also molefi. So let me just give my quick thoughts about this game. This is what I thought about this game. I thought this was a game of two halves. I thought that Kaizer Chiefs in the first half came out very aggressive. They came out showing that they wanted to win. They came out showing that they wanted to play. And you can't necessarily fault them for what they did in the first half. We'd been complaining for how many weeks upon weeks upon weeks that why the Mtanzane is starting? No, why are we playing this defensive football? We went to Sundowns and we pretty much played a defensive game, right? And this game, it showed that maybe, I don't know how much Orlando Pirates winning 5-0 the night before had to do with this. I don't know how much watching Sundowns win the 3 games had to do with this, But we came out in a more positive attacking fashion, which was incredible to watch because over the past few seasons, all we've really been watching is a very scared and defensive Kaizer Chiefs. So it was good to see them, the offense on display, you know, going forward, attacking, playing. And for the first few minutes, we had Cape Town City on the ropes. I think they couldn't deal with the pace of Utuprea, Potsane, and Modi, right? But credit to Eric Tinkler. In that first half, you know, we spoke earlier about how a lot of our coaches don't know how to adapt. In that first half, he already changed the shape of that 3-4-3 that Cape Town City played in order to stop these over the ball, over the top, through ball type of situations that we were having, that Cape Town City was getting beaten with, you know. So a very good display in the first half. Then the second half started. And for me, the second half was a completely different story, right? Where we ended the first half with all of the momentum, we were pushing, we were attacking, we were doing everything. In the second half, it's almost like we decided to, you know, sit back and see what the game would bring us. We allowed Cape Town City into the game. They started attacking us more. I think Umodi, Nabopotani started to become tired. Then he made some changes that I didn't understand. Bringing on Chivavairo, bringing on Saile. I know at the end, fine, Saile got the ball, but we started playing more of what we had been playing in the first two games, where it's very defensive, where it's very fearful, where we're unsure, where Ranga's not going to get the ball, where we're not going to play any football. We're just going to sit back. And I'm not sure if it was a situation where we were waiting to maybe go into penalties, extra time, or maybe just hopefully catch them on the break, by mistake, you know. You have a mistake, then we score our goal, which eventually is what happened. But that was a very good game of football, very open. Both teams played very well. Cape Town City in the second half gave us so many worries, you know, but credit to the coach. As hard as I am on Coach NTSEKI, as hard as I've been on Chiefs over the past few weeks, over the past few months, a win is a win. And that's what we want. We want to win for us to be happy. He did mention that he hadn't put smiles on supporters' faces for a while. So I'm glad that they were able to, you know, give us something yana, man. So let me open up the lines, please. You have to be following me in order to request. Then we can talk about this game. Next time we need Happy Mashiane as the left winger sub. You can tell Tseki listens to Pep's interviews. Congratulations to the club. Which one is Pep? Cape Town City didn't have the determination after they scored first. Eric Tinkler has to go. Wahib. But Wahib, your team was doing so well. They showed some hunger though, but they're far from matching Sundowns and Pirates. Chiefs as the midfield titan is very creative. When they get the ball, it was without energy. Chiefs need a CDM and a right back. Cape Town City lacks a manager who wants to win trophies. Eric Tinkler is only good at getting development. Yeah. Wahib is on fire. You were saying we were going to lose. Let me let in the first few panelists. I see people aren't requesting. Agent 007, welcome, my brother. Oh, what's going on, guys?
I'm back.
There we go.
I was still telling the rent owner, eh? my owner that I need maybe I'll be back.
No. I'm here. What did you think of this game?
I think I'll be here for one round.
Okay.
EPL is starting tonight.
Yeah.
Frankies are done. They were just Frankies across the weekend, so EPL is starting today. So, onto the game. Like I said, I've always been pro NTSEKI. Like I said, I listened to an interview of NTSEKI and I was convinced that, you know what, you guys just maybe need to give him a chance. Just give him a fair shot. You know, just give him this season. If it doesn't work out, fair enough. But at least support him. You know, I don't think it's nice to go to every game under pressure. You know, expecting that if I lose, I might lose my head literally. We know
Yeah.
Chiefs fans are hooligans, you know. So
Not a choppy job. This is part of the job at Kaizer Chiefs.
no, but you guys have to have the temperament and the cool nerve to say you are building, you know. Remember,
We've been building for 8 seasons, Chief.
yes, you've been building for 8 seasons, but this a new person. I know he's been on the technical team for some years, but he's the head coach now. He has the responsibility. Give him time, you know. And like I said, you know, I am impressed by Castillo. I'm impressed by Udupri, obviously, and I was impressed by Saile, you know.
Yeah.
And I kept saying, I think if you call the past streams, I've said Saile is a good player, just that he needs coaching. You know, he needs someone who can coach him. That you know, relax. You know, when you're in the box, just relax. You know, and you'd be a good one. You know. So onto the game. I want to disagree with you. You know, like when you're seeing that, you know what, we are going Imano for Imano, you know, you are punching, I'm punching, you are punching, I'm punching.
Yeah.
I know. Sometimes you have to say, you know what, let me let this guy punch me, let me defend. Like I said on the stream, fly like a butterfly, sting like a bee, you know. I think that's the approach which NTSEKI went for. And it was a tactical masterclass, you know. Because at halftime we said, you know, Utingla has a sleeve in Nodada, you know. What does Chiefs bring in to change the game, you know?
Yeah.
And he made a substitution which many wouldn't have made in bringing Saile, you know? And it was the point of difference because he had the crossbar, he was involved for the goal. It was a good substitution. And not many people would have called that, you know? So all I'm saying, and I need to go now, Kata should choose between overthinking football and me, but not. But what I'm saying is...
What's the other thing on mute, man?
What I'm saying is, give him a chance. You know, give him credit for this week. You know, maybe the substitutions were lucky. Maybe some next time they won't work. But for this game, it worked. He outsmarted Tingler, the third or fourth best coach in the league. Give him credit, guys. You know, and if I can do a quick, what is it? What is the word for it? Stats. You know. 10 shots, 6 on target. That's a good return, you know. So
from the first half,
for the whole game, whether first half, second half, whole game, 10 shots. Give him credit, guys. I'll be good. See you guys. Cheers, man.
Okay, sharp. Ronnie, welcome to the show, my brother. How are you doing? Oh, Ronnie.
Good, man.
There we go. What did you see from this match?
I think let's give credit where it's due, you know. I think Chiefs played very well on the day, to be honest. You know, that is if they can breathe that energy to all their games, then it will be a different Chiefs, you know.
Okay.
I was impressed with one person.
Yeah.
Mtanzani. You know,
yes.
Mtanzani, I think Mtanzani was very good in the day. He brought something different to Chiefs. He connected the strikers with the midfielders actually.
Yeah.
That is a good thing. You understand me?
Yeah.
But I think more often he needs to circulate the ball more, you know. He must not use one dimension on one side and all that. Try to change the ball to the other side. I think if Chiefs Tanzania can do that, Chiefs will be dangerous. To be honest, they will be dangerous. But just give them credit where it's due for now, you know.
Yeah.
But the bad news is one.
Okay.
Bad news. And maybe you heard it from me, but it is happening. Dupree might be leaving Chiefs within the end of this month.
Really? Where to?
If not early next month. No, not Rich or England. So one of those. I'm telling you, you heard from me. And they heard it from overthinking. I'm telling you, my sources never lie. And my problem is the only live wire at Chiefs for now. You know, only live wire. So that is a problem. It was shocking for me to hear that today, but I'm telling you, you might be leaving.
Breaking news, guys! Breaking news.
he might be leaving to England or not which. I don't know that countryman, not which or what. But those countries are fighting over him. So he might be leaving. But let's see. But I think Saile also, he was a good you know what, he brought something into the game actually. He changed the dimension, and then he made them play. He gave them an option going forward. You know, he gave them an option. But I don't understand that guy number 7, man, the big guy, Chiva Vairo. I don't understand that guy, man. You come into the game, you make silly fouls and all that. Why? You understand me? Coming into the game, these guys are tired and all those things. Cape Town City is pushing more forward. You're supposed to stay there in the box, be an old, not like the way we were talking during the day, like Lepasa wise, be like the old number 9, stay there in the box, man. I don't know why is he dropping too deep. You understand me? Coming to collect the ball, coming to collect the ball for what? You stay there. You understand me? Those guys have pushed forward, stay there in the box. I don't know that guy. I don't understand him. I think that is the best signing for Chiefs for me for now. Yeah, I'll let it go like that. Those are breaking news. You heard it from me.
I know. No, thank you, Ronnie. Thank you. Please, I hope this is not mind games from our Soweto rival trying to get us off. Let me bring in Khoza. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
My brother, more than you.
No, I'm okay, my brother. Firstly, what do you support?
I'm a Kaizer Chiefs fan.
Okay, hi, welcome home, relax, put your feet on the table, it's fine. What did you see from this game?
From this game, my brother, first things first, I think whoever renewed Hlanti's contract must be fired because that guy is lazy. I've seen lazy players. That guy is so lazy and he's going to bring us a lot of trouble going forward. Like, hopefully Udove comes back because, Udove makes a lot of mistakes, but at least he's energetic. He knows how to position himself. He knows that pace-wise is not so good, so he's always in good positions to be the first man on the ball.
Would you put Mosimane in?
For now, we are still under a lot of pressure.
Okay.
So let's gain our confidence. Let's make sure that Mosimane no Dihloko are well settled. Then we can play around with Abu Mashian. Okay, I also picked up with as Kaizer Chiefs, there's one thing we lack, man, that Sundowns and Pirates have. A player who's very confident on the ball. Well, for now we have Castillo doing that, but the rest of the players, it's like they're not motivated enough. If Obo Potsane shifting the responsibilities, a senior player instead of taking a shot, he's passing the ball. So I think maybe let's be brave enough. Let's introduce Uzwane. For me, Uzwane, technically, he's very gifted. He has a stage who is tall. He can protect the ball. He can spread the ball. He can control the tempo of the game. Because at some point, I just saw that, why don't you slow down the tempo? Because now it was just tibang on this side and the other side. I just needed someone with Ozowazube, Bologna win, and let's play. Let's just rotate the ball. 5 touches, 7 touches, 18. Let's slow it down. We don't have that. And number 2,
who would you replace? Who would you take out for Zwane?
I think we've tried enough with Yusuf Mat. I think for now, because I think we've given enough chance for him to play, and he hasn't given us anything. Because last season Uzwane, he was showing glimpses, but we gave him so much responsibility to defend. He can't defend. Given that Matt's role of box to box, I think he can give you something. I really think he can give you something. And Castillo going forward, I saw something. So maybe let's not go to the market. If you recall, Njabulo used to play CDM for our national team. Let's explore that option. Let's free Castillo. Let's see if what he can give us, and let's have Ngobo. Because another thing, we don't have a leader. Have you seen Ngobo when he's on the field? Very good communicator. He directs, he shouts, and that's what we need as well in that midfield. Someone who's a move, shift, press. Let's give Ngobo that chance as our CDM. Let's free up Castillo to play more. That's what I picked up from this game mostly.
Okay. I'm gonna come back. Sinjay, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm all right, my brother. How are you?
No, I'm okay. What did you think of this game?
Look, I watched the game. It was a very, very interesting game. It was a very, very beautiful game to watch. In particular, the first half. In fact, the first 15 minutes of the game, I think Chiefs showed me something special.
Yeah.
I think it showed me something very special. But I'm still not convinced about Mondi starting, being in the starting lineup. I think I would have opted for the young Shabalala to start in that left hand side and play that false nine with Dupree and Bonzan. I'm not sure whether I think Mondi is. I've seen two different types of him. I watched him in the two pre-season match, and I watched him after he came back to bury his mother. I don't think mentally the boy is there. I think he's there mentally. He's there. Maybe as a coach, you feel he needs to be on the field to get him back because you're looking at the long run. I think they would have, if it was me, I would have gradually bring him back into the squad. I started with Shabalala on this match because I really don't give us something, that energy that we needed. I think Bonzan Patrice tried, but if he was firing with all cylinders, I think would have gotten 2 or 3 early goals in that match as well. That is demonstrating to us why he is Chiefs material, why he was in the first place. Brilliant performance for me from his side. I hear a lot of people complaining about Klanti, but hey, Klanti is brilliant. He's a clever defender. I know a lot of people want him to play a certain way, but I think he played very cleverly. He was in positions in a very critical phase, in particular the second half. Klanti played that. He played that a lot because he positioned himself very well. So I was happy with him. I was happy with that. I think the combination between Umsimango no Titlwaka, ne? I think these guys are also. I'm still complaining about this guy's arrangement of his defense. I am still. He is not vocal. He is not shaping his defense line. He is quiet. He's not shouting. He's not blind spots. I don't know what's going on with him. Whether he doesn't want to be seen as arrogant or what, but that man needs to mouth on the field. As far as the substitutions, I can't complain. I don't see why Chifa Uranga, Chifa Varo. I think that guy would be good when we are playing a 3-5-2. Formation. I think he probably would be good, and having another second striker as well who's going to team up defenders with 2 wingers, number 10 right behind them. I don't think this 4-2-1-3 with false 9 is playing very well. When you are playing that formation, you need a false 9, someone who's going to run between the 2 posts and in area. You can't have a starting number 9 formation. I think that is why we are not seeing the best out of him. I think he needs that about 3-5-2 that we used to play with Abombesoma and Khadebe. And I think if we play that, I think it's going to be good because that's the formation he was playing in his previous team.
I'm gonna come back. Ngocha, welcome to the show, my brother. How are you doing?
So guys, hey, excuse the background noise here.
No stress.
I'm doing okay.
What did you see from this game?
This team started during the Sundowns game to show positive things, and unfortunately, some of us as fans we critique the results so much that we don't even get to see these positive things. The guys, the way they were fighting for the ball, the way they were competing one-on-one, and how the coaches set them. Leave aside the coaches' tactics, but how the players were trying to fight to keep the team in a respectable position. I saw a different Kaizer Chiefs then. In this game, I was even more impressed by the ability that we were actually passing the ball more than 5 passes, 6 passes, 8 passes that were going on. And not just at the back, even in attacking areas, even in little triangles on the right and on the left. And that was showing a system that the players themselves understand, Gucci, this is going to work. And they're working hard. And that fact, and that showed, Gucci, we are now dealing with a different Kaizer Chiefs compared to last time. Yes, there is some parts where I could see individuals not being as confident as they should be. Like Tanzania wasn't at his best. He seemed to be running at 58% to his normal way. He wasn't aggressive. He wasn't pushing that much, but he was good because his quality. The same with Botsane. He knows what to do, but he hasn't. He is not confident. He's just too scared of the big crowd, of disappointing the crowd, and we could see in how he moves. But overall, the team is playing well. Now, there's this part where I will attack the players when they're wrong, and I will attack the fans when we seem to be not understanding our team. Santi played a critical role there. Remember how much he was being fouled in the first half and how much he was being exposed in the first half versus the second half, where we did not see him make much tackles, when he was not even in a position where we're thinking, one more move is going to get a red card. The second half, he wasn't doing that. He was just playing his part nicely. And for a minute there, I even forgot that he was there until I saw him stay. Another positive point I want to take is Ungobo, guys. Ungobo came in for the I don't know how to call it. The clock he came in for the clock and made about 4 saves, critical saves. Shouting and even starting the moves at the back. And I was so proud to see how confident he is, even when they threw him last minute. And most probably he's gonna start the next game if the clock is not fully recovered, So I was surprised by that fact. Gucci Ulentolena is still there in the bench. The defender from Stellenbosch. Kweneke. Kweneke, he was there, but they put Ungobo. And normally Uzwane would have preferred that guy over Ungobo. I think it's clear that it was personal reason, not how bad the defender was. And we are solid at the back, guys. We are solid at the back. In the midfield, we just need Ungobo and Ustebe to know how to play their role when they put in. Whether I don't know what the coach.
Okay, no, I hear you.
People marked. Master is doing okay in his position, and the other defensive midfielder, Castillo, is doing okay in his position. But the people who are a missing link are the ones who are put. The third person they put in there. What does he do? They always seem to be slightly lost in terms of how to position themselves and where to position, where they're actually going forward fully or they're assisting this defensive midfield trio. Okay. And Chivaviro, can I just say one thing about Chivaviro? He's a good striker. You will not see that because he's not a striker for our system. That flat 3 up front system, it doesn't show him. The man scored 17 goals last season in total. So there's no way we then say he's a bad striker. He was actually one of the best strikers in the league. So we need to play to his strengths. Then we can see him pushing. They thought he was going to do who's this? Who's the guy from Zimbabwe that we had? Up front.
Not Musona. Oban.
Almost at Katsande. Okay, I forgot it. The one that used to be pushing. That striker. No. The striker that we had up front that used to be that Baxter loved so much.
Billiard.
Kingston Carter. Kingston Carter.
Kingston Carter. They wanted him to be a similar thing to Kingston Carter, fighting and pushing and creating spaces for the next players. But in this system, that type of striker doesn't work because we're not playing 4-4-2. That's why it's being exposed now.
Okay, let me go back to Ronnie. Ronnie, you know, I watched your team play. Rivero came out with a team in the first game, and we spoke about how he needed to put somebody Makaring away and maybe Hoto. In this game, we finally saw NTSEKI taking out, putting down a team that is very attacking, having learned from that first game and that second game. Do you think that is going to continue on this way? And should we be worried as Chiefs fans that in the second half, we seem to go back into our shell? We seem to go back into, I know people are saying it's defensive and all of that, but Cape Town City could have easily also won that match in the second half because we stopped attacking, we changed our shape, we started playing that game from the first game. What did you see from NTSEKI here?
I think it did very well, man. They're sub. As much as Chiefs he's still busy regrouping or rebuilding the team. As much as they're saying, I don't know why they're saying using those words, because those guys are professional.
With the process,
if you build a team, you build with. Yeah, I don't understand that word of rebuilding.
Yeah.
Honestly speaking, I don't understand it, because we're talking of professional players here. I think that is good, for him to do that. They think about it. If Castillo get injured, who is he going to put? So that is the problem. If Dupree get injured or move out, who is he going to put? You understand me? So I think in time he needs to change the team more often, so that everybody understand what he wants. You understand me? Because he had a short preseason. One, he didn't have a good start. It's only 2 games, yes, I agree, but he hasn't good because of the performance and all that. This is the only best game that they played. You understand me?
Yeah.
In Sundowns, it was only those glimpses and glimpses of shows a little bit, but they didn't have a good game. But in this one, to be honest, they did have a good game. You understand me? But I think for him to circulate all the time,
do you think that? Yeah.
I'm saying let him circulate. Let him circulate a little bit. You understand me? Change a little structure all the time, so that you can have a best 11 that he wants, or the team that is going to be the best for the team. I think.
But I want to ask you: Is this the NTSEKI that is going to be taking over Chiefs like that first half we had, or was it a case of, it's a cup competition. The fans have been angry at me. They haven't been. Let's attack this game. Do you think that we're going to see this performance, or you're going to see a more of that very good defensive, but not necessarily giving us anything going forward type of performance in future?
Let me say this. What he wanted to do in the first half, it was to kill the game. It was to get an early goal, go and sit at the back. That was his plan. I told you, even during the day, those are the approach of this cup, because it will be a different game when they play against Sundowns, right? Because it's 2 legs, semi-final. So it's a different approach. I wish it doesn't change that, but Chiefs, they're not ambitious for the league. They're not ambitious for that. I know it's a team that want to win the league, but not ambitious for that. The only thing that they need now is a trophy. So for him, he wanted to kill the game, go and score a goal, come back and defend. That was his plan. So the plan, I think it backfired because of what? Cape Town City scored first.
Yeah.
And now it has to change now to say, hey, must I shut the back door, or must I continue pressing? So if I press and then they score again, the second one, what is going to happen? You understand me? So he went back and defended a little bit, just to consolidate and go back to have time, come back and then regroup again. That was his plan. But I think it was towards the end, he changed again going forward. The press again after Saile came in within Chevavairo, then the press again. That was a good approach, because why? You if you score, it is 10 minutes left. Then if you score, game done. So that was his plan. But I'm sure Nseki, when we go to the league, he will go with the same approach that he used against Sundowns defensively. Because why? He's rebuilding the team. He's trying to rebuild the team. That is my take. I'm not saying I'm still to be corrected, but I feel he's going to go with that approach. But in the cup games, he wants the cup more than any league, like more than the league. He just wants a trophy. If we can redeem Chiefs by winning the league, the cup, this MTN is an easy tournament to win. Then it's easy.
And then I wanted to ask you, then the midfield, if you watch Chiefs' midfield, we were cheating a little bit. So Mdantsane came out as a 10, but they sort of used him as an extra winger in order to make it like a 2 up front. Are we going to run into problems going forward for that midfield? All of us have been speaking about how Castillo's a very good player, but then Mart, they both tend to go missing, or they both go up top and then there's nobody in the middle. Are we going to survive this season having a midfield like that?
With that approach of overloading one side, it is very dangerous. Let me I'm not, because I'm a Pirate supporter, let me just put it like this. Think about it when there's Saling on the side and there's Mufuking on the other side, then you overload one side and then they win the ball and then they play quick to the other side. Think about the transition. That is where Chiefs needs to be careful when it comes to this overloading of one side. I think they overload one side too much, and then with Tanzania, that's where the first goal came with Dupree. When they overload on the one side, then it was like transition 1-on-1 with keeper. That is what they're trying to do. But if they get a clever team whereby they'll win the ball and switch it as quick as possible to the other side, that is going to be dangerous, because now they will be open on the other side, including the midfield. They will be open. So that is the problem that I'm with Chiefs for this overloading of one side. I don't agree with it too much. As I told you, Danzan was good, but can he learn to circulate the ball as quick as possible to the over? You understand me?
Yeah.
To do those things.
Yeah.
You understand? Do those things. So it is good, but overloading of one side, you need to have people who are good when it comes to coming back in the middle. You understand me? You need people who are quick and all those things. Do they have that capacity? If the answer is yes, they can do it. But if the answer is not, they must not do it at all.
Okay. Let me bring in Klovizwe. Is this the real Nseki? You know, because we've seen a very... I can't complain about Chiefs defensively that much, because defensively we've actually been pretty good and solid, and they've been trying to give the guys help. And then this game, he came out and he started attacking, and we saw a positive Chiefs team and all of that. Is it only because we're playing in this cup that we are positive like that? Are we going to go back into the league and start playing that defensive football again?
From what I know, Nseki, he has never been a very defensive coach, like even from the national team. He has always been very offensive. So I think Njengamanje, remember he was with the team for the past 3 seasons?
3 seasons.
So he knows our problems very well. So coming to this season, the most problem that we've been talking about is our defense.
Yeah.
So I am thinking, from what I'm observing, it's that he tried to stabilize our defense first. He's like, okay, Sharp, this has been our biggest weak point. We've been conceding a lot of goals. So let's have a stable defense. And then going forward, we can work on our offense. Because for me, honestly, this is, in so many years, this is one season where I'm not really worried about the players that we have or the depth of the players we have. Okay, we might have a problem here and there when Dupree's not there, because Kumbule Kale and I talked about confidence. Like, our players are not confident enough. Well, Dupree's that confident. Like, he doesn't care who he's playing against. He's just going to run at you and you're going to feel him for 90 minutes. So I think what the approach that he took is the same approach that Pitso took when he came to Sundowns. Like, let me have a solid defense first. Let me make sure that I don't concede unnecessary goals.
Yeah.
So I saw our defenders are growing in confidence. Even our goalkeeper, okay, last match he made a blunder, but I saw him in this match. He was growing in confidence. Crosses, he came out well enough, and he was trying to communicate, not as vocal as Khune or as vocal as we would expect him to be. Honestly, to answer your question, I don't think we're going to have a very defensive Chiefs team. I think we're going to have a stable defense, and we're going to come at all these teams with everything we have. Because even Sundowns, against Sundowns, we showed that, okay, we respect them. They have more quality than us. They've had a great team for the past few seasons. But if we want to go with them, we will have a go with them. And they're going to have troubles defending us. So I think once...
Yeah, go on.
I'm saying once our defense is settled, you will see that our offense will be more shaped. And it will have more controlled offenses, and we'll see.
Speaking of shape, I want to ask you about that midfield, Kaizer Chiefs. Like I said with Ronnie, we sort of cheated. Tanzania wasn't necessarily playing a 10, right? He was playing more down the right, and then putting those balls in from that area. But the one thing I saw is that Castillo has been asked to be more attacking, and him and Mart seem to vacate. They seem to leave that midfield open. Is that going to hurt us going forward?
As I always ask myself, do our coaches watch these big leagues, our EPL, the La Ligas? Because I remember years back, Mourinho deployed Ramos as a CDM.
Yeah.
Just to have a well-shaped midfield. And now, man, if you watch Man City, Pep sort of utilizes Stones as an anchor to make sure that he has that shape, that space is always occupied.
Yeah.
So that's why I was raising a point. Okay, Shab, as we can see, we don't have a Obers kind of player or who's the Stellenbosch kind of player the one that we were rumored to want, who plays Stellenbosch.
Mteto.
Yeah, Mteto. We don't have such a player. So let's use what we have. You're a good coach. You know that we always lose shape. And if you open that CDM position, if you have space there, the Sundowns one will hurt you for 90 minutes if he finds such spaces. So let's take Ungobo, let's have him there. Because for me, Castillo, I like that he can play. I like that he's very confident. But as a CDM, I think no. Let's have Ungobo. Ungobo has all the qualities of a great CDM. He's tall, he can defend, he can play from the back, he can collect the ball from the back. So that space is still going to be vacant. So let's use what we have because we don't want to spend money. I thought we were going to get the TS Galaxy CDM, but we didn't go for it fully. Yeah. So what you're saying, I understand. Like the shape was so bad at times. If it was another team like Pirates or Sundowns, they were going to hurt us.
Yeah. Okay. Let me go into Sinjay. Sinjay, same two questions to you. Are we going to see an attacking Kaizer Chiefs or are we going to see a safe Kaizer Chiefs? I think NTSEKI looked at the situation and said, hey, we haven't won in 2 games. Ngapa Pirates, even like 5. Ngapa Sundowns has won their games. Ngapa the fans are sitting here on me.
Yeah.
Did he decide, let's go all out this game? And then let's give them a smile. But when we go back into the league and those type of games, are we going to see a more safer Kaizer Chiefs?
Look, I think league games and cup games are totally different.
Yes.
And I think we can't have a cup mentality on a league game. League game management is quite important. Game management needs to be important in the league. When do you attack? When do you stabilize the game? When do you become defensive? And when do you attack again? Depending also on the outcomes of the game that you are playing. So I think NTSEKI, in my view, is going to be very smart in terms of deciding when to play attacking football, when to manage the attacking football, and when to become defensive in the same game, and when do you close off the game and close off the game completely to collect the 3 points that you need, and so on and so forth. So I think it's going to be very smart in dealing with that, and that is for me a sign of any good coach. Even
Okay.
Sundowns, when people they were not just firing all cylinders on the game. They had very proper game management. They collected, they scored the goals, managed the game, closed off the game. So I think that's what we're going to see when it comes to this. Maybe when he's playing against the Sundowns, he's going to start defensively, hold them or frustrate them, and get that goal and close the game off completely. So, until he sees that his players are sharp at all times, Abomponsane are sharp in front of the goals. They're not going to miss chances. Oshavaviro are now the knives are sharp. Then you can just send them off and then kill off the game. As far as in the midfield, I hear a lot of people. I see a lot of people are saying that they must bring in Ungcobo as a number 6. You see, the problem with playing a number 6, you have to be fluent on both your feet.
Okay.
My problem with Ungcobo technically is that he starts off his run with the same foot that he uses to mark, which is going to put him off very, very much. The reason why Uplom was quite good in that CTM, it is because he's able to mark with both feet. He starts off his run with both feet and is comfortable on the ball with both feet. Because you must understand that in 6, you have to drift left and you have to drift right. You have to deal with the wingers on the left hand side, so you must be able to mark with his left foot and also mark on his right foot.
Yeah.
Now, Nobo Jabulo, when I see him, he's a right-footed player. So to use him as a you're actually going to open up yourself on a lot of kilograms with clubs like operates with Zamalek, who are very good and very fast on the left side. And you must understand you that likes going up. So you need to see CTM that is very good with his left foot in terms of marking, in terms of distributing the ball, in terms of the channels that we have. If you see now with 2 right-hand centre backs, now you see channel on the left-hand side, they're not opening up the channel that one would normally use with your left foot. That's why you don't see those long balls that are opening up left pocket anymore, because you don't. And I think that is why Unseki did not put Ukwinika in when Utitlokwe was off, because Ukwinika is very on that left-hand side. That's why even though he would use Ungcobo on the left-hand side, he would not use Ukwinika because he understands he's not a very left-footed player.
Is it not? I hear people were saying that Ungcobo must come into the game and play in the game. Isn't it just a situation where you have to tell someone whether it's Castillo, Mart, or Castillo, Mart, guys, don't get too excited. One of you, if one goes, one must stay. They used to tell us, Guti, one must. If I go, you tell the other guy, Guti, no, nyahamba manje, and somebody stays back, because the issue for me is that Mdantsane is already going to overload on the wing. Then you have Castillo, who was very disciplined in the first 2 games. Now they're saying Castillo, now hamba. But both him and Mart will go. And immediately when you're on transition, there's no one in the middle.
But you must understand when Castillo and Mart went up, you could see either the left winger or the right winger would stay back and hold that quarter 10 position, because these two are right up in the front. Because you must understand the shape of the field and the attacking play is determining which player must be, which man must be in what position. Because you can't, because the football has evolved since the last time that we played. You don't no longer have a one center midfielder. You've got 2 people. Either you are playing 2 quarter 6s and 2 quarter 8s or 2 quarter 10s. But there must be a player that is in a particular position, so that if the ball drops, you would want that player to be an attacking player that is seated at the third line of the field. So I think that is why when Castillo was in the box, if you go look at the goal, you would see that there is either a Saleh or I can't remember who was playing on the left hand side. They were actually at the edge of the box. playing that role that you would normally see Abodi Tolinyane playing, waiting for that silly loose ball to collect it and score a goal. Now you've got Castillo in the center and your striker sitting at the edge of the box, playing that 6 and 8 role that you would normally find. So it's a matter of just swapping personnel, but you've got a Chiefs player that is sitting and waiting for that role to be played should the ball fall into them. But now coaches are very smart. They would rather have an attacking player sitting at the edge of the box and have a defensive player inside the box, in particular for those crosses, because they know with Patrice, if he's at the edge of the box, he's got the abilities to score.
Yeah.
If a Saleh is at the edge of the box, so you want those players that you know they're quite good at scoring long range goals to be the ones that are at the edge of the box.
Okay. No, I hear my brother. Let me bring in Ngocha. Ngocha, is this the game we're going to play under NTSEKI, or was he just doing this to put smiles on our faces so he has this and then we go back to playing the safe football?
It's not the way we're going to play. It's just the way we're going to play against certain opposition. If you check how invisible Zwane from Sundowns was when we played against Sundowns, you saw that it showed Uguti there was two coaches who thought of this carefully and saying when we nullify this one, these ones, yes, they're dangerous, but we will do this and this and this and this. You can see this was debated and agreed upon so that we play in that way. And the reason why it was even possible for us to even be in 1-1 with Sundowns was because mostly of what was planned amongst the team, that we chose to be defensive and we chose to want to catch them in certain areas. Had we not made those mistakes that we made, because we were not even forced to make those mistakes, by the way. It wasn't a forced mistake that a goalkeeper was trying to rush to throw the ball before he caught it. It wasn't a forced mistake. There was a simple catch that even a banana coach, goalkeeper would have caught. Similarly, with the previous mistake, it wasn't because they were pressing us that those back passes were made. It was just merely a fact to say the person who was passed the ball didn't have enough areas to turn with the ball. But on any other day, those two mistakes would have happened, and therefore the score would have remained 1-0 because we didn't need Sundown to make a mistake to score. So we saw the conservative part of how he would play. Then we saw an adventurous part that he would play. I'm not saying that he's going to play most games like he played City. But I think there's still other tricks that he has on his sleeves, because I believe the 3 games that we've seen of him, he's been showing things that are different things, and the players have been responding somewhat differently to his system. So it's refreshing to see which there's now different plans. Zwane used to come with you every single game, same plan. But now we are seeing various type of plans.
Let's talk about. I'm going to ask you the same midfield question, because my worry is, in as much as the gameplay is open and we're seeing all that stuff, I really feel like you need to, at the very least, have a body in the midfield who's going to just be that last person before the defense. And what we've seen what we saw from the game was Cape Town City started having a lot of joy because Mart and Castillo were pushing up. And we already see Tanzane was not playing as a 10. He's playing to overload on one of the wings. And when we are caught in transition, there was no one in the middle. Is it something that is sustainable, or should we be rectifying that thing, or was it part of the plan, as you say?
I think it was part of the plan, because it was desperate times. When we had 1-1, it's a better, it's a knockout game. We need to push bodies forward. And who do you push forward? We're not gonna push our wing backs forward like we normally do last season. But now we're saying, let's push our midfield, press them at the back, so that we have more numbers up front. And Castillo showed that he's versatile enough to play the defensive midfielder, and the central midfielder, and also if he moves forward, takes the responsibility as an attacking midfielder. It was flexible, but I believe it was just out of circumstance. Would say we want to win the game so much. Who else could we push forward? Because Khanye wasn't going to go forward as much. He's been making mistakes in the game, and we didn't want him to get a red card. So rather put in Castillo up front. I think it's just the coercion of the midfielders getting used to interchanging their positions. Plus, but we will not see that during the league games. The league games will be back to normal states, more conservative, catching them. If we will not be risking that much, at least for now.
On that point, I want to ask you, and maybe I'll go back to everybody and ask them the same question. On a general point, do you think that in general in the PSL, it seems that players struggle with communication like that, Like I saw it defenses Kukune when they were being ripped apart by Pirates. They stopped talking. They didn't know what to do. We saw some of the games in the PSL. I'm trying to think of one that I'd watched where it just basic communication. I was saying like now, Guti, Tina Masdala, a lot of our games were about communication. Gocha nyahamba, telung kavel. You get what I mean? Or Uzban Banenza, no, we're moving like this. It was a lot of talking. Do you think that in general, man, it seems the PSL is struggling with that?
It's not necessarily communication. It's how much we've been coached. If you coached enough to stay in a certain way, don't move this much, don't move this, don't do this. All these don'ts, and every player believes they are doing what is expected of them by the coach or by the system that was deployed. But the problem is now, back in the days, while playing, you can just change twist the system a little bit so that you can cover whatever spaces you see are opening. But now it seems like the players are not given that much freedom to do that. So you find players saying, as long as I do what the coach asked me to do, we're okay, even if we lose. But the instance of Sehoana is not bad management at the back or bad players. Because almost all the players at the back were doing their jobs. The problem was the confidence that they quickly lost. Plus, no Motsepe Pirates, God, most of it, most of it was the confidence. If you check that number 5 of theirs, that number 5 was the weakest link. He was supposed to talk to the players, but most of the time he was dragged on one-on-ones. I saw him in the midfield, on the left-hand side of the midfield, following Khoza, a player there. I was like, why is this guy what is this guy doing so far? But he was easily dragged. He was easily dragged out of his position because he thought he was doing what the coach wanted him, and the coach was dumb enough to say, Babambe one-on-one. Once Saleng is muted and this player is muted, then we finish them. That was a terrible analysis. There is no out-and-out striker there for you to say, I'll bamba Saleng because Lepasa, because Lepasa drifts off and comes back, drifts off and comes back. If you follow him, you're gonna leave the other players, and those players will then just be strikers immediately. So I think it was mainly the coach's mistake, not the communication between the players. And where the players found themselves, I saw Ulentole, TNT, and TNT is a solid player when he's defending, and he's always wanted in his forward movements. That's where he's short. But when he was playing there, he realized he needs to leave some space between him and Saleng, because the man comes fast. And once he does that, the second player should cover him. But they did not train or practice what Patrice did there, because Patrice has not done that before. Hasn't played like that before.
I want to bring in Ronnie. Ronnie, I'm going to ask you the same last question that I asked Ungocha. Is it just me, and maybe it's my old brain, maybe it's because, Tina, when we were playing, you were asked to solve problems on the pitch. A lot of the time when we watch PSL games, it seems as though the players don't know how to adapt to the game, but also they don't understand how to play with each other. Like if we are in the midfield, I don't know how far you played football, but if you're in the midfield and both of us are standing inside the box and there's a counter and there's nobody in the middle, that's something that's wrong. PSL, Ronnie, are players not understanding these things?
I think it's all about communication, man. They're failing to understand this thing is all about football. It must include communication. It's all in your mind. You have to use your brain most of the time. It is a team sport. It is a team sport. So I feel most of the time in PSL, most of the players, they're professional players, but they're not professional within them. You understand me? Why I'm saying this, individual brilliance. I have to that is our mind of how we play. But football is all about communicating. You have to communicate. You and it's all about tactics. The tactics they include communication, because why? You have to communicate. That's why you have to have a core within the team. When I say core, I mean the two central midfield of the center backs need to be experienced, clever. You understand me? Know what to do. So even like maybe like the likes of Castillo need to know in that position. The guys on the wing need to know. Somebody on the strike needs to know. And then you have to have only two which do their things, like their free role, or one who can do those things. So if you have a team like that, you have a balanced team. But in PSL most, if you can check, some of them, they're just players. They just play it like it was Singfigile. You understand me? And I'm good enough. Nobody can take me out. Those are the things that makes the team to lose most of the time, because of this individual brilliance or individual play and all that. You're not playing for the team, but you're playing for yourself. So, but if you're playing for the team, you have to communicate. You understand me? That's what you're losing. If you can check in the I'm watching Men U now. When they're moving from the back, right? The back four, for example, they'll move straight on the line. They will never lose that shape. In the middle, if they're playing in the middle, they will never lose that shape, because why? They're drilling. They drill to do that.
So how much of it is communication? How much of it is the drills and the coaching? Because for me, I expect that if a player is in the PSL, like Ukutsu was mentioning how Ukaroso Yakala, so he tends to run out. So now we're losing 3-0. My left back is gone. Mara still I'm pushing out. Shouldn't there be like a thought process that goes, man, let's assess the situation, or somebody who goes, yes, the Ntiantia, whoever was there, come back, ungahambi. Pelatina beskulum on the pitch. I don't know now, but you get what I mean.
It is still football has not changed. The only thing is the tactics. It is the model of football that they're using now. Nothing has changed. It's all about communication. Like if you're moving to the front, you need to come back as quick as you can to cover yourself. If somebody has covered your position, which means now you have to cover his position. That's how it works. We work as a team. You understand me? But I feel some of the teams in PSL, the way if the very same Skukuri that was playing, it seems like it seems like they took them from somewhere and say come and play. And then I think somebody during the day talked, I think it's Malume Khoza or something, who told about and then they come to play. That's how they did. It seems like they didn't even drill. Because the drill, it includes communication. When you're drilling, you have to communicate. Let's move, come back. That's why you need to have somebody who's vocal, not the goalkeeper alone. The center back needs to be vocal. And you need somebody who has this character. You will see. If I heard Marco one day on the interview, he says, I don't care if you are lodge or what, I want to win. You need to have those guys who can say, hey Baba, as you know, things which happen in the football in the pitch must be left in the pitch. When you go to the dressing room, we are different, we are friends. But in the pitch is work. You understand me? They need to know that we are working. So you need to work as a team. That is my take on your question, man.
let me bring in Khoza. I watched, and I want to make it a bigger question. I watched Royal AM. It was Royal AM again. They were playing versus Pirates. And man, there were so many small things, like the defense was not in line. And at one point, the defense was not in line. At one point, a Pirates player was running inside, in between the ball and the defender. And they were just chasing. And then you watch the Pirates versus Iskukune, and they were just in sixes and sevens. And then you watch Chiefs, when it was lit for us with Cape Town City, Martin and Castillo disappearing from the middle and really giving Cape Town City space to attack down the middle. Is this a PSL problem, Guti? These people, it doesn't seem like they communicate, or maybe it's they don't understand the roles they're meant to play or how to cover each other. Is it just me, or is it now, has it become rocket science, this thing to these players?
Before I answer your question, I just want to give you something to think about. Remember earlier I said, for once, I think we have enough material at Kaizer Chiefs. To attend that middle-field question of yours again, we have Ufrosla, who comes from Ibit who used to play CDM. Don't you think maybe we can utilize him in that position? He's quick, he can defend, can play with both feet, but that's just something for you to think about. Well, I think we don't have enough leaders, man, grounding with PSL. Remember before, if we have captain, usually it used to be someone who's vocal, someone who can speak up. And right now, anyone can just be captain because of how long you've been in the team or how good you are. You can be very good, but you are not a leader. You shouldn't be made captain. So, I'm a player, man. I know when there's some silly mistakes, not even one of your teammates will confront you and say, hey, Baba, come. You don't have that.
It's on the pitch.
I will just make a simple example of having a good leader or being a good leader. You don't even have to be a good player. Look, Kumbula Tefo Mashamaite.
Yeah.
Tefo Mashamaite, all he did was to observe and communicate. He never defended. Umar Toho was doing all the work. He was the guy to lose. And Ukune will kill you if you don't do what you're supposed to do, if you're not in the position you're supposed to be in. So I think General Manager, we are just playing. And General Manager, if you see their training sessions, Babatoli, where you run up to this square, you don't run. You don't run across. If you run across, I'm gonna bench you. So I think we're coaching. Okay, are we limiting these players? Everyone is saying, it's your responsibility. It's your baby. I'm in my position. When I'm in my territory that I was told by the coach to play.
Yeah.
But okay, communication is a problem, but I also think we don't have enough leaders in our teams. We don't have enough leaders. We do, but we are not allowing them to lead. To be honest, why is Peterson not talking? He's senior player now. He's been with the team. He's worked with Okune for years and years and years. Why is he not talking? Usaba who's telling them not to communicate? Are they saying it's his coach's responsibility to give orders? I mean, you're on the field. You are number 5. Or you're a goalkeeper, or you're number 6, you have a better view of the whole field. You're the one who's supposed to be communicating and say, hey, Baba, shift to your left, shift to your right. Or we wait for the coach to tell you. Obviously, the coach is on the side of the field. If you're playing number 5, you have a better view than your coach. But with 2, obviously, it's going to be disastrous.
Okay, no. I hear you, Brother Sinje. I mean, I don't know. Some of these things for me are simple. You know, some of these things are basics of football, and it's something is happening that I don't know, and maybe we can even go to the coaching. sometimes we spoke about this formation, NTSEKI, to play this and this and this, and he finally played it and we got a result. Now we're speaking about players on the pitch not necessarily knowing the basics of what they're meant to do. Is it something we're not seeing? Because for me, we've grown up playing soccer, we understand communication, we understand coming into spaces for somebody else. Why then do we find ourselves watching the PSL players, top league, people who do this for a living, not knowing how to do these things?
But you must understand that the majority of now players in all departments in the PSL. Let me take Chiefs for a second. What you're talking about comes with chemistry.
Okay.
It comes with motion intelligence. It comes with trust. And unfortunately, those are not things that you get instantaneously. I think so. That's the correct image. You don't get it like that. It's something you work with over time. I'll make an example. When you watch billiard and Dolly, Dolly knows where billiard is going to run, when he has the ball, before even billiard starts running. Billiard knows when Dolly plays this particular ball, he's going to move this particular direction. And it's something beautiful to watch. And it's not something that you get like that. It's something that the players have built amongst themselves for a very long time. So I think a relationship between Castillo and Mart will build up over time. And I think they have to, because it comes with trust. When you move in, it's not a matter of just moving in when you want to move in. It must something part and parcel of the game plan that all the players have agreed on. So when he moves, I will do a particular thing. So that when he moves, he knows what Umar is doing behind him. And I think it's something that players will learn to trust each other, listen to each other. And people talked about the communication between Umar Toro and Umar Ukune. There was trust in that. When Ukune is telling Matoro something, Matoro trusts what he's hearing from Ukune. Not have that trust because they've not gelled that well together. Art and Castillo have not even played a full season together. So they haven't, I don't think they've got that motion and emotional intelligence between the two of them. And also there will be a language barrier as well. So that trust and knowing how to play together, that's where it comes in as well. So I'm seeing glimpse of good things. I won't lie. I think partnership between Castillo and Yusuf Mart. And I agree with Uncle Vista when he was saying, should anything happen to Castillo, if I was the coach, I would also move Frosler into that center, into that number 6. He played position well at best, and he's actually very good at the edge of the box with those long range shots as well. And I think there's already a nice chemistry between him and Mart and him and Dolly when they are on the field. You can see and Dylan shot when they're friends and they don't look for each other. They know where. It must understand what you talk about also comes with the fact that you need to know where your partner is without even looking at. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Okay. And Gotcha, let me come back to you. We're speaking now about players. I want to speak about coaches. Then I want to give Utinkla credit, in the first 10, 15 minutes of that game when Chiefs had Cape Town City on the ropes, he made some changes in the shape that stopped Kaizer Chiefs being able to do what they were doing in the first few minutes of the first half, right? And then NTSEKI replied and also changed some things. Can we give the coaches credit for, this was, they always say it's tactical games, but questions were asked, they answered, then they changed again, and switched again. And can we give Abo Tinkler credit?
Oh, we definitely can. We definitely can, and not just to Tinkler, even on Teki, guys. If we're being honest, we didn't know what type of coach this guy is. We don't know what to expect from him. But just checking how he's dealing with the opposition, with all the questions that they were asking in the field, and you're seeing that things are changing in the field, we are seeing something that we haven't seen. Even last season, we were not doing that. So now we saw how they dealt with Uzwana. We saw how he deals with Cape Town City's shape. Because Cape Town City, when they started the game, when I checked the lineup, they meant to play about 5 in the midfield. And my biggest concern was, how would that 3 that we have deal with this 5?
Yeah.
But when they actually played, they didn't play with that 5 that they said they were going to play. They actually left gaps in the midfield and allowed Chiefs to hold on to the ball. But when they thought they were packing up front and they're going to attack us, the opposite's going to happen. And Tinkler is such a smart coach, and plus his experience, man. The man played in Italy a very defensive type of football back in Italy, and went to England and played also a similar type of football. But when he plays here, he knows when to attack and when to reserve and hold, and he has players that fully just fit into his type of system very, very easily. You know, and sometimes players even seem to be very good players when they average. Kanti, it's the way that he deploys them. You know, it's the way that he deploys them. Yeah. So a lot of credit goes to the coaches. Yeah.
And then how can we get this for more coaches, man? How can we see, like, I'm giving Tinkler credit because, for example, when Royal AM, I'm going to use the Royal AM game, when they played Pirates, Umaruka only woke up when it was 3-0. How do we make sure that more coaches in the league can get to a point where they're answering questions too?
But you can't blame Matuga. That 3-0 came very fast, and he made changes. When did you see 3 players being changed in the first half before the 40th minute? He had to do that. He was seeing which whatever I put in here, it's not working. The problem is, because it's start of the season, most coaches seem to base what they're going to face on last season's statistics, and then when they get into the pitch and they realize, no, things aren't working out like the normal way the Chiefs plays or the normal way that Pirates plays. Now we have to think on the spot. And that's what we are seeing right now. What we are acknowledging is what players, coaches have to do just to manage what they're seeing on the spot.
Yeah. Okay. Zinje, same question to you. You know, it seems as though sometimes, the coaches in the PSL are a little bit slow, man, to see and make changes. And here's Tinkler. 10 minutes, Chiefs was all over them, and then all of a sudden you saw a slight defensive change. I think they made the back 3 open up a little bit to stop those balls. Yeah. Could we give them credit? Because then he replied also, instead of playing those balls long immediately, he would play one more. He'd try and make a second ball situation.
Yeah, look, I think with lack of technology in our soccer, makes coaches to react on the spot. Okay. You know, if you watch Sundowns, they've got those black things that are in their arms, those technical motion detector movements, and it's part of in most parts of the world that is also filtered into the ball. So then the coaches can actually sit from a technology perspective, quickly make those adjustments in the first few seconds or first few minutes of the game, because they see how the ball is moving versus how they position themselves by looking at it digital. But unfortunately, we don't have the beauty of that technology. The majority of our teams in South Africa. So the coach has to react to what he sees. That is why when he sees that, no man, the movement of play versus how we've positioned ourselves, it's not giving us anything. In fact, it's creating problems. Let's readjust ourselves to how the movement of play is actually happening on the field. That is why I'm giving credit to them as well, in particular with the lack of technology that we have currently in our league. So I think Tinkler should be the Bafana coach. I don't know why we have not used him. For me, Tinkler is one of the best coaches that we have in the PSL. In fact, one of the best other we have. I don't know why that man is not the Bafana coach. He is an intelligent footballer. He's an intelligent coach. The way he reads the game, the way he outplans in terms of how he reads, the way he plans in what he wants to execute. And I agree with Ngozi that the man makes his ordinary players fit well in his play and look very extraordinary as well. And to become in the PSL, imagine if he could have quality, what he would do for the Cape team. So I think so. I think if you could get the technology right, you could see how we structure the coach's structure. I think they do a course on that when they're doing this.
That's why I get shocked, man. All of these coaches are meant to, like, we don't coach. I don't coach, but in the watch along, I can tell you exactly what's happening. And I wonder with all the years of experience that these coaches have, man. I expect more. I expect more, to be honest with you.
Look, I think with time, and I want to restate this, and with the correct technology, because technology is playing a very vital role in how we coach and how we execute coaching. Without the correct, if you are still living in the dark ages, we are not good to see clearly. You can't come at night with a torch. Someone with a torch that is using LEDs going to see clearly than you with a torch with an orange light. You get what I mean? So it's all as well.
No. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. I think we're going to do the MTN 8 reactions. We'll do them tomorrow in the afternoon. I'm not going to do the show at 8 tomorrow. I'm going to do a watch along at 7:30 for the Pirates game. So I'm not going to do
tomorrow.
Yeah, there's two games tomorrow. Sundowns is playing at 5 and Pirates at 7:30. So we'll just do a watch along at 7:30. I've watched too much football. I'm not going to watch the Sundowns game live. But thank you guys so much for joining me. Thank you to the panel. Thank you to everybody. Thank you for the insights also.
Thank you very much.
Guys, for me, I think I'm going to end the show how I usually end the show. Guys, some things are basic. I don't believe football is rocket science. I think what's happening is that a lot of the thinking is being taken out of the game for me, right? So I used to watch teams. There was an interview that Kolo Toure did, and they asked Kolo Toure that what is the difference between older players and the players from now? And he said, when I've been coaching in youth, the younger players aren't asked. They don't expect them to solve any problems. They all look to the coach, and the coach must tell you how to step, how to do this. And he said the difference was that with us and Wenger would give us the formation, but then he would trust us to solve the problems on the pitch. And I think we're so far away from solving the problems. Like, for example, Kaizer Chiefs came out with the 4-3-3, and the basic plan was we're going to play balls diagonally. So we're going to try hit Potsane or Modi across the pitch, right? And Cape Town City, for the first 10 minutes, were open to it. They were getting caught every single time. But then Tinkler changed the back three that he had, the guys on the side, pushed to the side a little bit and starved that space, right? But for a good 10 minutes, Chiefs players were still trapping the ball and hitting it that way, even though there was no space for it, right? So for me, I would love, when you watch Sundowns, you can tell that that's a thinking team. I've always said that the difference between Sundowns and everybody else is that you can tell that that's a team that is thinking. I think the one gift that Pitso gave to Sundowns is to make sure that every player that comes into Sundowns and leaves Sundowns can think, right? You can see that something's wrong and you can fix that something, or you can see that something's missing, right? And those for me are basic things. Like if you have any football logic, you'll understand. So it baffles me when I see PSL players who do this every day, who get paid very handsomely to do these things. But man, they can't tell a guy, guys, line, let's keep the line. We all knew the guy, guys. Everybody who played football here knew. There was always one guy who'd tell everybody, let's push together. But then you watch Royal AM and they're disjointed, and one is running over there and the other one is running that side. Pirates are spaced behind. And you're thinking, but guys, are we not like professional players at this point? You look at the coaches. For how many weeks have we been screaming, molefi, why don't you put in Umtansan? And sure, maybe there's things behind the scenes that we don't know. But you'll say, why don't you put in Umtansan? I don't know how many times I said that. Where I'm like, you've got a number 10 who's played some games, who's got some experience. Put him in. Play like this. Do this, do that. And in my head, I'm thinking, I don't think it should take 25 analysts and video replays and all of that stuff to see what is right in front of you, right? This is your team. This is what you do. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen this season. And maybe what I'll try to do with all of my might, I'll try to get a coach or somebody to come on, because maybe there's something we're not taking into account into this. But for me, guys, some of these things are too basic, man. They're too basic to be such big things. To close off on the match, I think the match was incredible. I think there are ways to lose. I've always told you guys that for me, there's ways to lose, right? So when you play a game and you go all out and you lose, I can never be angry at you, right? If you come out and the players are playing to their best abilities and you're losing out because well and truly the other team is having to use every single bit of the quality they have, I will be happy having lost that game because I know we gave our all. But watching defensive football, for me, or defensive without a plan, be defensive. It's what I was saying about the match that we played, that Chiefs played versus Sundowns. Be defensive, but you got to have a way to go forward and get the goals when you need to get the goals, right? Who else played defensive? Swallows. Be defensive, right? But defensive doesn't mean you don't have a counter-attacking plan. You don't have something that you're going to do the other way. Because Aboranga haven't seen any game, right? So we'll see what happens. I'm just glad we got our win. Long overdue. And NTSEKI has been under pressure, but I give him credit for this game. Really trying something, came out with a new play against Cape Town City, a very good Cape Town City team, and we got the points. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe he is really pushing for this trophy because, hey, Shem, our trophy cabinet is something else. Let's see. Was not the pattern or technical ideas Chiefs win was all down to individual brilliance. Chiefs players, it's like they're shocked to see their names in the lineup. A win for Downs already. If you never play, if you never play, Tinkler plays direct, but doesn't confuse his players. Yes, thank you. Yeah, they can think. Chiefs tried to play helicopter system of Bata and Mazinha. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you to the panelists. Thank you to everybody in the comments. Thank you to Spa for the rose. Thank you to Abuti Kutso for sending Sinje football. Thank you guys so much for your support. It means so much for me. Linna, I'm going to go see what menu is cooking on that side. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 12:30. And then we're going to have our watch along at 7:30. I'll see you guys. Oh, Facebook. Let me see. I saw some of the comments here. But yeah, a good win for Kaizer Chiefs, man. A good win for Kaizer Chiefs. Hopefully they can carry on doing this. Hopefully it's not a situation where we're doing this just for the cup, man. I want to see a progressive Kaizer Chiefs, an attacking Kaizer Chiefs, a positive Kaizer Chiefs. For so many years, we've played pretty much negative football. And even in the negative football, Abo helicopter, I want us to be aggressive, man. We can't be Kaizer Chiefs and not be aggressive and be scared of everybody. We need to play, and playing doesn't necessarily always mean that, you must take the ball and play the ball and have people, like Pirates. Sometimes it just means, guys, we're going to be aggressively defensive. We're going to come in as a defense, but we're going to know that we're going to counterattack. That's our plan. And we're going to give it our all when we counterattack, whatever it is. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me. I will see you guys tomorrow, 12:30. We'll speak about MTN, the reactions to the draw of the MTN 8. Hey, Sundowns, back to Sundowns. Okay, guys, see you.